Boom. I think I've done this right. So this is a test for the live stream. I want to do more of these on a live stream rather than as well as the podcast thing because I want to bring more people here and go and visit more people and interview them and all this sort of stuff. So and I'd like to do it on YouTube, but I don't want to do an edited video because an edited video is, quite frankly, a fucking pain in the arse, and it takes up a lot of time and for not very much reward, to be frank. So I've been trying to master the software and what have you to be able to do this. I think I've got it. So this is a test live stream. I'm not going to put this up on the podcast stream. Just going to test this out, unless I do have something to talk about. So if anybody's watching this because of the guitar content, so basically what I'm going to do is I got a new guitar today, and I'm going to tell you about it. I'm very excited about it. I haven't put it down all day, and so if anybody's watching this because of the guitar thing that doesn't normally watch my or listen to my podcast, that's fine. That's all good. Just listen to the guitar review and cheerio. For those of you that normally listen to my podcast, you know it's about politics, and there's going to be no political content in this. This is just a test. This is me fucking about in my studio. And then lockdowns, and the reason that I'm getting here now is because lockdown's going to be lifted, we hope, real soon, and I will be able to bring people into the studio. So here we go. So this arrived in the post today for me. Not unexpected because I did buy it. But this is a Yamaha. Can you see? Yamaha FG800 acoustic guitar. And it's very pretty. There you go. And I'll tell you all about it in a second. So here's the story. As you know, I play in a band, but if you don't know, this is who I am. My name's Andy McGibbon. I play in a band called the Bonnevilles. We are on Alive Natural Sound Records coming out of LA, and we two-piece punk blues, garage punk blues thing. And when we went into lockdown last year, I'd been writing and recording my own solo album for the previous 2 years. And it went out last year, called Northern Gothic. It was very good. Or, sorry, pardon me, it's not for me to say it was very good. I was very happy with it, and people seemed to like it. But before we went into lockdown, I started to go to local places up in Belfast. I live in the north of Ireland here, by the way, and started to go to local gigs and all this sort of stuff. And in Ireland we have these things called sessions, where you sit in with play traditional music together. And I didn't have a good enough or the right sort of guitar for that. Not that you need a particular type of guitar to do it, but I'm primarily an electric guitar player, although I did I didn't get my first electric guitar until I think it was like 19 or 20, and I've been playing since I was 8. So I do come from the acoustic thing, the acoustic world, but I had this idea what I wanted, and I wanted that Paul Brady trad, 70s Irish trad thing, and it comes from the Yamaha guitars. So the old famous red label Yamahas. And so I had my mindset on buying one of those. I bought something else online, and I ended up selling it on. It was an Epiphone Century, and I regretted selling it. So I started to look out for a Yamaha. Then we go into lockdown. All the shops start to shut. So I buy something online, and I got my head turned. It wasn't a Yamaha. Bear with me. I bought this. And this is... Ooh, now damaged. This is a Morris. So this is a Japanese Morris, and it's 1972. So it's almost 50 years old, much like myself. And it's a lovely guitar. I think it's spruce, but I think it's a laminate top. Rosewood, mahogany, all that sort of stuff. And it's a nice guitar, and I was very taken with it when I first got it. This is way last year in the middle of the summer. It needed a little bit of work done on the action at the time, so I sent it up to a luthier I use in Belfast called Lev Budnarchuk, I think that's how his name's pronounced. He's very good, and he did what he could on it, and I had tried to reset. I had tried to bring the action down. It just needed the action sorted, and he did what he could, and he informed me that it probably needed a neck reset. So you can see the action there is quite high. I don't know if you can see that, but there you go. So it's a very lovely little guitar. I was very taken with it at the beginning, but then when it became apparent that it's not playable enough once you get past the first few frets, and then also the neck's very skinny, and I've got big hands, and it sounds good. It's nice, isn't it? It sounds okay. It sounds okay. The action height is a problem. It's affecting the tone, I believe, and all that sort of stuff. These strings are a little bit dead too, so that it doesn't sound great right now. But what it needs is a neck reset, and that means that the glue inside the neck joint, where it joins the body, needs melted. The neck needs taken out. The truss rod that goes through the middle of the neck is maxed out, so whatever way it needs to bend to bring this action down, it can't go anymore. It's nearly 50 years old, so it's probably been tweaked a little bit for 50 years until it's maxed out. It can't tweak anymore, so that needs reset. That's a few £100. That could cost 200, 300 quid maybe. Because I can't go into shops. This is I still wanted this guitar, and I know what I wanted. I was on eBay and looking at guitars, and because I ballsed up so badly with this, I'm one of those people that buys vintage gear, that loves vintage stuff. In my head, I'm that guy that thinks it's better because it's older, and that's patently not true. It's obviously not true. I'm still that guy, and I got taken with it. The guy put up lovely photographs, but he didn't mention the action, and that's the problem here. And it wasn't expensive. I think I got it for about $260, $270, including shipping, and a case from the era. So a 1970s Yamaha case I got with it as well. So it wasn't expensive, but nonetheless, I ended up a little bit disappointed. So couldn't go into shops to try things out because the shops are closed. Here in the north of Ireland, we're in lockdown. The shops are opening in a few weeks, I believe, but whatever. So I had this itch that needed scratching, and it was to buy an acoustic guitar. So I started to look at them again, started to research the Yamahas again, and that's where this comes from. So, I don't want to spend a lot of money. I can't, because if I could spend a fortune of money and end up disappointed again. So I determined I'll gamble without. I remember saying to my wife a few months ago, I said, I'm not buying an acoustic guitar again unless I'm play it first. Because you just need to do it. It's different with an electric. It's a bit weird. I think, not all the time. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you're spending thousands of pounds or dollars on an electric guitar, you want to play it first. But if you're just spending 300, 400, 500 quid on an electric guitar, I think you'll be grand. But acoustic guitars, I think, are a bit different, especially second hand. So, start to look at the Yamahas, and this comes into me. And again, this is not my field. This is not my expertise, because I am primarily an electric guitar player. I have various acoustics scattered around the house and the studio and stuff, but they're also they're not very good. So this comes into my vision, and it's called a Yamaha FG, which is the famous Yamaha model. FG means folk guitar, and then they have FS, which I think means folk small, which is a smaller body guitar for folk, for more for Americana and stuff like that. And blues actually would be good little blues guitar as well. But this is a dreadnought size. This is your standard dreadnought size. And what it is, so this is spruce top, NATO wood back and sides, and rosewood bridge, rosewood neck, fingerboard, and mahogany neck, I believe. Yamaha tuners and what have you, and it's got bracing inside. But this, the important bit is the top. This is the solid. So this is, whereas this is laminates, made up of laminates, I believe. I could be wrong about that. This is definitely a solid spruce top. And that's the key, along with the bracing. I just opened the box on this like 3 hours ago. I haven't put it down. And I was compelled to come out and tell you about it. This is where I'm coming from. So I thought I may as well use the opportunity to test this live stream setup. So let you see what I'm doing there. That's just this microphone I'm talking into, picking that up. Do you hear that? And compare that to the Morris. If this might not work, I might make an arse out of myself here. It's actually not too bad. It's quite nice. But the problem with that is not the tone, it's the action. But anyway, this is nicer, this is clearer. It's more definition. It's a nicer sound. But anyhow, this is the key, this is the point. How much do you think this cost? Anyway, I paid for this, I'm not being sponsored. You know me, I'm in the Bonnevilles. I can't get a fucking sponsor. I've been trying to get someone to sponsor me for years, and I can't get one. Well, I have a hat sponsor and a whiskey sponsor, which is good, but I don't have a guitar sponsor. So if Yamaha want to sponsor me, I would really appreciate that. So I bought this with my own money. How much did this cost me, do you think? And bear in mind, I am absolutely taken with this guitar. I love it. Right? It's beautiful. It's a lovely guitar. It has a nice, thick, nice bigger neck. It's not a huge neck, but it's not as refined as this neck. This is a slimmer neck. This isn't. This is a little bit more traditional, I would say. And I like that. I actually find myself getting sort of little hand cramps when I would play this quite often, but it might have been because the action was so high. So there's that. How much was this guitar? £200. 200 UK pounds. That's about 220, 240, 30 euro. 200. I think they go for $200 in the US. So $199 in the US. It is spectacular. And it's exactly what I wanted. And I feel like such a fool for having bought this and wasted this money. But because I am enamored with vintage stuff. I've always been the same. I'll always buy vintage. Vintage is better. It's not. It's just a thing that I like. But I feel like a fool now for having bought this. I should have bought this. And this is the Yamaha FG800. It is the new version of this Yamaha guitar. The previous version was called the FG700, and it is the best-selling guitar on the planet. There you go. And apparently it sounds just as good as this. This is, I guess it must be improved if they brought out a new model. They'll claim it's improved. Whether it is or not is another thing. I don't know. But I love it. And so I just wanted to do that. I just wanted to share that with you. I'm doing a live stream on Saturday night with Matt McGinn and Cormac Neeson, two well-known musicians from here in Ireland, and it's on their Facebook page called Cocoons. So if you go to Facebook and search for Cocoons Group, or go to my Instagram or Twitter or whatever, you'll see that there'll be a flyer on there for it, or a link. And we're going to play a couple of songs. So there's 4 of us. I don't know who the other fella is. I think he's from LA. But we do 2 songs each, but in the round. So we take a turn. We do a song. It's a nice way of doing it. So, and I'm really glad because this guitar came just today, and means I'll be able to play it on Saturday night. I'm so happy about that. That's the just last point. When I got the guitar out of the box, the action was quite high. But that's fine because it's a new guitar, so the truss rod can be adjusted, the saddle can be adjusted, and the nut can be adjusted. I was looking down the neck, and it has a little bit of a outside curve on it there, a little I don't know if it's concave or convex, one of the two, concave, convex. I think it's convex, which is what you want. Well, I want. It's just a tiny. You don't want it dead straight. You want just a little curve in it. So I took the saddle out, brought it into the garage. I have a belt sander, turned it upside down. Just took 2 millimeters off the saddle, slipped it back in, and the action came down perfect to exactly where I want it to be. And just as simple as that. But it sounded great anyway, but the action was a little high. Brought that down just by, as I said, sorting out the saddle. Didn't touch the truss rod or anything, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And I'm really, really happy. Really, really happy. 200 quid. I don't know how Yamaha do it. It's beyond belief. And the thing about this is spruce. This is solid spruce. This will get better as it gets older. So as this ages, the sound should improve. Go figure. How they do it for £200, I do not know. That's their secret. But fair play to them for doing it. It's a nice natural finish, no gloss. It's a natural finish. You can feel the grain in the wood there when you touch it with your finger. The only thing I'm going to do going forward, but no panic just yet. I'll throw it up to my luthier and I'll get him to put in a bone saddle and a bone nut. And I've got some bone pegs, string pegs. I've got them coming. I bought those on eBay. So there you go. So I just wanted to do that, share that with you. 2 reasons to do this, to show you the guitar and also to test the live stream. So I hope this has all worked, otherwise I look like an awful tit. So I'll just set that down. So there we go. Hopefully this works. The next podcast I'll do it in the next few days, and I'll do this live stream. I'll do it in the evening. I'll do a live stream on YouTube, and then I'll dump the podcast up to the audio up to the podcast server. Hopefully it's working. I hope this works. This would be good if this worked. Okay. Cheery bye.